Listen, if someone has disrespected you and you had the strength to walk away, do not go back. Period. I know what you're thinking, but what if they change? What if I overreacted? What if I missed them? No, let me stop you right there. Because this is how people get stuck in a toxic cycle, replaying the same hurt, the same disappointment over and over again. And you don't deserve that. When someone disrespects you, they are revealing exactly how much they value you. Disrespect is never accidental. It's a choice. It's a reflection of how a person sees you, how they prioritize you, and how much they believe they can get away with. And when you tolerate that disrespect, when you brush it off, make excuses, or give endless second chances, you're sending a message right back. I accept this. That's where people get stuck. They think if they let it slide just once, it's no big deal. They tell themselves the person didn't mean it, that they were having a bad day, that maybe they're just being too sensitive. But what happens next? It happens again and again and again, because the moment you show someone that you're willing to overlook mistreatment, they learn that there are no real consequences for hurting you. Respect is not something you beg for. It's not something you negotiate. It's not something you should have to constantly remind someone to give you. Respect is either there or it isn't. And if someone is willing to cross that line once, they will do it again. Think about the strongest relationships in your life, the people who genuinely care about you. Do they ever make you question your worth? Do they ever say things that cut deep, then brush it off like it's nothing? No. Because when someone truly values you, their actions show it. They don't just apologize when they mess up. They make sure they don't do it again. They respect your boundaries, your time, and your emotions. They don't make you feel small, unimportant, or invisible. Now, let's flip the script. Think about a time when someone made you feel disrespected. Maybe they dismissed your feelings, talked down to you, betrayed your trust, or made you feel like you didn't matter. And when you confronted them, what did they do? Did they take accountability or did they gaslight you? Did they change or did they repeat the same behavior? Here's the hard truth. When someone truly respects you, they don't put themselves in a position where they have to keep apologizing. They don't let their bad day become your burden. They don't make excuses for hurting you. They don't say, that's just how I am. They don't act like their disrespect is something you need to learn to tolerate. People will always treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. If you show them that you're willing to accept less than you deserve, they will give you less. If you show them that your boundaries are flexible, they will keep pushing them. If you let them back in after they've hurt you, they will do it again. Because in their mind, you've just confirmed that their behavior is okay. This is why walking away from disrespect is so powerful. It's not about holding grudges. It's not about being unforgiving. It's about sending a clear message that you refuse to participate in a dynamic where your worth is up for debate. It's about recognizing that some people will never give you the respect you deserve, not because you aren't worthy of it, but because they simply don't have it to give. Respect is a two-way street, and it has to come from a place of mutual understanding and appreciation. If you find yourself constantly explaining why you deserve to be treated well, you are wasting your energy. If someone truly cares, they won't need a lecture on basic human decency. They won't need a wake-up call to realize your value. They will already see it, and they will treat you accordingly. So the next time someone crosses the line, pay attention, not just to their words, but to their actions. Are they truly sorry, or are they just saying what you want to hear? Do they make an effort to do better, or do they keep repeating the same mistakes? Do they respect you, or do they only respect the fact that you haven't left yet? The way people treat you is a reflection of how they see you, and the way you respond is a reflection of how you see yourself. People don't go back to toxic situations because they enjoy being disrespected. They go back because of fear and hope, two of the most powerful forces that keep people trapped in cycles of hurt and disappointment. The fear of being alone can be paralyzing. It makes people question whether walking away was the right decision. They start to convince themselves that maybe they were too harsh, too impatient, too quick to judge. They begin to wonder if they'll ever find someone better, if they made a mistake, if they should have just let it go. This fear clouds judgment, making the past look better than it actually was. It distorts memories, making people forget the pain, the anxiety, the constant second guessing that came with being in that situation. Instead, they focus on the good times, the small moments of happiness, and start to believe that maybe, just maybe, things weren't so bad after all. Hope is just as powerful. It tells people that if they wait a little longer, if they give just one more chance, things might finally change. It convinces them that the disrespect wasn't intentional, that the other person didn't mean it, that deep down they are capable of treating them better. Hope whispers that if they just love harder, if they are more understanding, more patient, more forgiving, the other person will wake up one day and realize their worth. This is the illusion that keeps people stuck. They keep waiting for a version of that person that doesn't exist. They hold on to potential instead of reality. They believe words over actions, apologies over patterns. They convince themselves that the next time will be different, even though history has shown otherwise. But the reality is, if someone truly respected you, they wouldn't have needed to hurt you in the first place. Respect isn't something that suddenly appears after multiple chances. It's not something that grows because someone finally realizes they took you for granted. It's either there from the start or it isn't. People don't suddenly change because you've tolerated their mistreatment long enough. They don't become better just because you keep giving them room to do so. If they didn't respect you before, what makes you think they will start now? The cycle continues because each time someone returns, they unknowingly teach the other person that their disrespect has no real consequences. They show that their boundaries are flexible, that their standards can be bent, that their love is unconditional even when it's undeserved. This only empowers the one who disrespected them. It reassures them that they can cross the line and still be welcomed back. That's why people who hurt others rarely feel the need to change. They don't have to. They know that no matter what they do, they will always be given another chance. They rely on the fact that fear and hope will keep pulling the other person back in. Breaking free from this cycle means confronting the truth. Fear is a liar, and false hope is a trap. The fear of being alone is temporary, but the pain of repeated disrespect is permanent. The hope that someone will change is comforting, but it's also dangerous. It can keep someone stuck in a situation that drains their energy, erodes their confidence, and makes them forget their worth. Real respect doesn't require endless chances. Real love doesn't need to be earned through suffering. People who genuinely care don't make you question where you stand. They don't force you to choose between your dignity and their approval. They don't expect you to keep overlooking their actions just because they occasionally say the right words. When someone truly values you, they won't put you in a position where you have to wonder if walking away is the only option. They won't make you regret giving them another chance. And most importantly, they won't let their mistakes become your responsibility to fix. Walking away from disrespect is one thing, but staying away is where the real transformation happens. It's in the moments after leaving that people often feel the pull to go back. They second-guess themselves, replay conversations in their heads, and wonder if they overreacted. But every time they resist that urge, every time they remind themselves why they left in the first place, They take a step toward real self-worth. Choosing not to return to toxic situations is an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that they are no longer available for treatment that diminishes them. The power of staying quit is in what happens next. The first thing that shifts is internal confidence. When people stick to their boundaries, when they refuse to entertain the same disrespect they once tolerated, they start seeing themselves differently. They begin to trust their own judgment more. They realize they are capable of making hard choices that serve them, even when those choices feel uncomfortable. Confidence isn't just about feeling good. It's about making decisions that reinforce self-respect, and nothing builds confidence faster than proving to yourself that you are unwilling to settle for less than you deserve. Another shift happens in the way others perceive them. People who once took them for granted start noticing the change. They realize that the person they used to manipulate, dismiss, or mistreat is no longer playing the same role. And while some may try to pull them back in, others will simply fade away. Because without their ability to control or take advantage, they have nothing to offer. Losing people can feel painful, but it's actually a gift. It clears space for the right people to enter. The kind of people who respect boundaries, who appreciate honesty, who see value in those around them without needing constant reminders. When someone stays quit after disrespect, their standards naturally rise. They stop making excuses for behavior that doesn't align with their values. They no longer justify red flags just because they care about someone. They stop feeling the need to shrink themselves to keep the peace. This shift isn't just about relationships. It impacts every area of life, the way they show up at work, the friendships they maintain, the way they speak about themselves, the way they handle challenge. Everything changes when a person decides that their worth is non-negotiable. One of the most powerful outcomes of refusing to go back is the clarity it brings. The longer someone stays away from a toxic situation, the more they see it for what it truly was. Time creates distance, and distance creates perspective. When they are no longer caught up in the emotional roller coaster of disrespect and apologies, they can see things more clearly. They recognize the patterns, the manipulation, the ways they ignored their own needs just to keep the peace, and with that clarity comes freedom. The freedom to stop explaining, stop justifying, stop giving second chances to people who never deserved the first one. Growth happens in the space between the old life and the new one. It's in the uncomfortable moments of loneliness, the nights when self-doubt creeps in, the times when it would be easier to just go back. But real strength is built in those moments. Every time someone chooses themselves over the past, they reinforce the belief that they deserve better. They prove to themselves that they can handle the discomfort of change because they are working towards something greater. And eventually that discomfort fades, the pull to return disappears, the need for validation from the wrong people vanishes, and what's left is someone who knows their worth so deeply that they could never imagine settling again. The moment someone decides they are done tolerating disrespect, their entire life begins to shift. It's not just about cutting off one person or leaving one toxic situation. It's about making a commitment to themselves that they will no longer accept less than they deserve. This decision changes everything because it forces them to reevaluate their standards, their boundaries, and the kind of energy they allow into their lives. It's about finally realizing that they don't have to beg for respect, explain their worth, or tolerate behavior that makes them feel small. No more second chances for people who repeatedly cross the line. There's a difference between forgiveness and allowing someone to continue disrespecting you. Forgiveness is for your peace. But second chances are a privilege that should only be given to those who have truly earned them. Too often, people confuse kindness with weakness. They assume that if someone apologizes, they are obligated to forgive and let them back in. But an apology without change is nothing more than manipulation. If someone keeps hurting you and then asking for another chance, they're not sorry. They are just testing how much you'll tolerate. Deciding that you're done with these cycles isn't about being bitter or holding grudges. It's about respecting yourself enough to walk away from people who don't respect you. No more explaining your worth to those who refuse to see it. The right people will never need a lecture on why you deserve to be treated well. They won't need constant reminders of your value because they already recognize it. Trying to convince someone to respect you is a losing battle. If they don't see your worth on their own, no amount of talking will change that. It's exhausting to keep justifying your feelings, to keep explaining why their actions hurt, to keep hoping they will finally understand. People who genuinely care don't need endless explanations. They listen, they reflect, and they do better. But if someone repeatedly dismisses your feelings or refuses to acknowledge how their actions affect you, that's not someone who values you. That's someone who benefits from you staying silent and accepting less. No more answering texts from the ones who made you feel small. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If they disrespected you once, they will do it again. Yet so many people struggle to ignore that text, that call, that unexpected apology. They want closure. They want to hear that the other person has changed. They want to believe that maybe this time will be different. But closure doesn't come from hearing the right words. It comes from deciding that you don't need them anymore. Every time you reopen the door to someone who hurt you, you're giving them another opportunity to do it again. The best way to respond to disrespect is not with anger, not with a long message explaining why you're done, but with silence. Silence speaks louder than any explanation. Silence is proof that you respect yourself enough to not engage in games. This isn't just about relationships. It's about a complete mindset shift. It's about realizing that your time, your energy, and your peace are valuable, and you don't owe them to people who take them for granted. It's about walking into every room with the confidence of someone who knows they are enough. When you stop entertaining what insults your soul, your entire world starts to change. You attract better people, better opportunities, and a sense of inner peace that only comes from knowing you are living life on your own terms. It's not easy to break old patterns, but the moment you decide that you are unavailable for anything less than respect, you take back your power.